Scuffmaster, pretty tough paint. Solid Metal from Scuffmaster is a spray-applied finish consisting of two products, Metallicoat 2000 and Ultra Clear Protective Clear Coat. To achieve this elegant finish, Solid Metal must be spray-applied using the following methods: conventional, HVLP, or an HVLP gun attached to a pressure pot and compressor, often referred to as a hybrid system. Do not use airless spray equipment. For this video, we will be using the conventional setup. However, instructions and tips for other methods can be found at scuffmaster.com. Please note that while the equipment may change, the technique will be the same. In this video, we will be using the following equipment: a dual-regulated 2-gallon pressure pot, a Binks 2100 spray gun with a 66 SS fluid nozzle and a 565 needle, a 63 PB external mix air cap. Another option is a 66 SK, an air compressor that will provide 6.5 cubic feet a minute at 90 psi. Make sure all equipment is clean and in good working condition before starting the job. The finished components are MC2000 and the UC Protective Clear Coat that is available in 3 sheens: flat, satin, and gloss, with satin being the most common. In addition, each gallon of metallic and clear coat will come with a catalyst called Masterlink. Masterlink is a performance additive that is mixed into the paint just before application. Once Masterlink has been thoroughly mixed into the paint, approximately 30 to 45 seconds, it has a shelf life of 36 hours in the can and 8 hours under pressure. Only catalyze the paint that will be sprayed that day. Before the painting begins, examine the surface. Make sure the surface is uniformly primed with a suitable primer, preferably white. Since solid metal is a reflective finish, make sure the surface is as smooth as possible. On new sheetrock, a level 5 finish should be specified. Any and all imperfections will telegraph through the finish. If the metallic paint seems too thick, it may be thinned with water. Use the empty 2-ounce Masterlink bottle as a measuring cup. Thin the metallic paint in 2-ounce increments, but do not exceed 8 ounces. Use a nylon strainer bag to strain the paint into the pressure pot. Attach the lid. Remove the air cap from the tip of the gun. Set air and fluid pressure on the pressure pot to 0. Increase fluid pressure to produce a stream of paint that is approximately 4 inches until it begins to dip. Put the air cap back on the tip of the gun. Slowly increase air pressure until the proper spray fan is achieved. When the tip of the gun is approximately 10 to 12 inches from the surface of the wall, the spray fan should be about 10 to 12 inches wide. Also, the fan should be slightly underatomized. By setting the pressure this way, you are using the minimum amount of air pressure to achieve the desired finish. Because factors such as temperature, color of the paint, and condition of the equipment can alter pressure settings, this method will ensure fast and easy setup every time. The proper spray technique combines 3 components: the distance from the wall, the speed of the spray stroke, and the amount of overlap of the previous spray stroke. The typical installation uses a vertical spray stroke. There is no need to use a crosshatch spray pattern. Start with the distance from the wall. That will determine the overlap and the speed of the spray stroke. Hold the gun about 10 to 12 inches from the wall. Keep the gun perpendicular to the wall. Do not arc the gun. Next, the overlap of each spray stroke should cover at least 50% of the previous pass. Lastly, the speed of the spray stroke will determine how fast the finish will fill in. Avoid spraying too slowly. This will result in a wet edge and lead to striping. The fastest way to spray solid metal is to apply the MC2000 in 4 to 5 light passes, waiting until the previous pass is dry to touch before applying the next pass. While it may seem like more work, light passes are applied more evenly and will dry faster. This means less time between passes, and it usually means there is no time spent fixing application issues. First pass. Primer will be visible. The finish may look cloudy or striped. Second pass. Follow the same vertical pass as the first, ignoring any striping. Don't try to fill this. Maintain the proper speed. Third pass. Finish will begin to fill in at this point, although there may be some striping and cloudiness as well, as the primer is still showing through. At this point, examine the finish from a couple different angles. The finished product should look the same regardless of the angle. Fourth pass. Use the same technique to finish. Fifth pass, if necessary to provide a uniform finish. Before cleaning the equipment, check the surface from multiple angles to determine if the finish is indeed complete. If it looks good from one angle but not the other, it is not done and will need additional light passes. Clean equipment with water as soon as the MC2000 is complete. The next step is the Ultra Clear Coat. Be sure to add the Ultra Clear Coat within 48 hours of the MC2000. Add MasterLink just prior to application. Strain the clear coat into the pressure pot. Use the same technique of setting air and fluid pressure as you did for the metallic base coat. Once a 3 to 4 inch stream of clear coat is achieved, add air pressure until it is slightly under-atomized. Spray the clear coat in one coat using a 50% overlap and wet edge. The clear coat will go on milky, but it will dry clear. Troubleshooting striping. Typical causes: spraying too slowly, the metallic paint builds up too fast. Spraying too close to the wall. The closer to the wall, the more narrow the spray fan becomes. Fixing striping. Wait until surface is completely dry and apply light passes until the striping has disappeared. Do not try to cover the striping with a heavy coat of paint and do not use a crosshatch spray stroke. Troubleshooting texture. Typical causes: spraying too far from the wall. The paint dries before it hits a surface and doesn't dry smooth. Spraying with the air pressure too high. This will dry the paint before it hits the surface. Bad spray technique. An arcing spray stroke where the distance from the gun to the wall changes. This is most noticeable in corners and near the floor and ceiling. Fixing texture. Carefully sand the surface smooth using a 220 grit sandpaper. Avoid scratching or gouging the surface. Once smooth, remove dust, then apply light passes until finish and color are consistent. Be sure to use the proper spray technique to avoid reapplying a texture. Blotchy and/or cloudy. Typical causes: spraying the next pass before the previous pass is dry enough. The next pass re-wets the previous pass and can cause color variation. Spraying too slowly. Paint can build up too fast. This may result in striping, but can also take on a blotchy appearance. Using a tinted primer that is too close to the finish color. It is difficult to tell when enough metallic paint has been applied. Fixing blotchy and/or cloudy. The procedure is similar to fixing striping. If the surface is smooth, spray light passes until a uniform finish is achieved. If the area that needs repair requires compound, allow compound to dry thoroughly and sand smooth and spot prime using 100% acrylic primer sealer. If the prime coat beneath the existing solid metal was spray applied, then spray primer on compound. If existing primer was roll applied, then apply with roller, making sure to feather the outer edges of the touched-up area. 2 light coats are typically better than 1 heavy coat. Make sure primed area has thoroughly sealed the compound and allow primer to dry completely. Follow all solid metal mixing, setup instructions, and equipment requirements. Once material is ready to be sprayed, apply 1 light coat and allow it to dry completely. Generally, the best way to do small areas is to keep the gun triggered to the point where the air is always coming out of the gun, and by pulling back on the trigger all the way, so the paint will come out, and when released halfway, the paint stops but the air remains coming out. This will help to avoid the gun from spitting and will give a soft blend. Continue this process until primer is completely covered and allow each pass to dry before applying the following pass. For more information or answers to questions you have on any Scuffmaster finishes, please visit us at www.scuffmaster.com. or call 1-800-898-0219. Scuffmaster, pretty tough paint.